Meanwhile, boaters are getting their vessels in the water to take supplies to people stranded on those islands.
ABC Action News reporter Heather Lee got on a boat and headed for Matlacha to see the progress happening there.
It's been days since Hurricane Ian ravaged Fort Myers Beach. In fact, officials here are calling this ground zero. It is devastating out here. I want you to take a look at some of the images that we're seeing. I don't think anything compares to being here, seeing the 360 view, but we'll do the best we can to show you how bad it is out here, because I do think that this reminds folks of how powerful a storm like Hurricane Ian can be and the damage it can cause and how it can be extremely deadly. I want you to look over here. We've got some houses. These are obviously single-story houses. We got a two-story house over here. These single-story houses, the water was so high. The water levels are almost covering the entire house. You can see that the water just rushed through the inside, the interior of the houses. And a lot of these houses are just structurally unsafe. They may be standing now, but they may not be standing for long. Some of the officials out here say that they have to get, structural engineers out here to actually look at these houses to determine if they're safe to go in, and if they are not, they do not go inside. Of course, they're continuing their search and rescue efforts because this could go on for days. There's so much damage out here. I want to show you too. So you're looking at some houses over here, and then if you pan over here, Michael, you can see that these are concrete structures. And what they were talking about, officials were telling me, is that there are breakaway walls that when the water rises and starts to rush in, the walls will break at the bottom and you'll still have these pilings, and they will stay, but it will allow the water to rush through, allowing, again, the water to get through so it's not being stopped by any of these walls. And that does help, apparently, with keeping a structure intact. And then, of course, you can see some of these other structures are just, they didn't fare as well because they're lower level or they didn't have those breakaway walls. There are still power lines down here, and they're treating these power lines as live because there are power crews out here currently working to clear the power lines out of the way. Of course, these can be very dangerous. And I was told too, if somebody has a generator running in this area, there can be a secondary reaction or a secondary spark from these power lines. So it is extremely important to stay away from the power lines. Again, the damage is just vast. It is vast here. We're seeing houses that are completely gone. We're seeing houses that, again, are still here, but they're structurally unsafe and could fall. And then we're seeing houses that seem to fare okay and are still here. We're seeing cars that are flipped over on their side. We're seeing part of the roadway in some of these side streets, these neighborhood side streets, washed away, gone. We're just seeing so much out here. And again, they're saying this is ground zero. They're not letting residents right now come over here. It's just too dangerous. We are with a crew that is keeping us safe, that is watching, making sure that we're not in any dangerous situation. But for residents right now, they're saying that this is just too dangerous to allow people to come over here and walk around. They're also trying to do a job. They're trying to search and rescue, and they're coming up and down Estero Boulevard, and they just need this clear and open so that they can do the work that they need to do. They could be out here for days. It just depends. We're going to continue, obviously, to follow their work and continue to get updates from the Lee County Sheriff's Office on how many people potentially died in this situation. We know that number continues to rise. But again, residents right now are just not allowed to come onto the island. And we do not know at this point when residents will be allowed to return. For now, on Fort Myers Beach, Heather Lee, ABC Action News.
Heather, thanks. Our ABC Action News team will continue to be out in communities hardest hit by Ian. So far this week, we've been in Northport and Wauchula for special coverage. And tonight, our Paula Groen's going to be anchoring our evening newscast from Fort Myers. Friday, Good Morning Tampa Bay will be live at Feeding Tampa Bay, highlighting all the ways that we can help those in Southwest Florida.